I'm in a really unique position. I have access to something that most people that are interested in YouTube don't, and that's data and conversations on the daily from people doing really well on YouTube. And I'm talking people that are making at least 6 and 7 figures a year from their content on YouTube. I know what they're doing, what they're not, what they're making, how they're making it. And in this video, I'm sharing all of it with you. Class is in session. The first thing I have to say about people that are making a lot of money on YouTube or saying 6 and 7 figures a year is that they're not just consistent. I know we talk about being consistent on YouTube, and yes, that's important, but they're intentional with their consistency. There is a huge difference between showing up and filming versus showing up and filming with intention. I have one of my students at my YouTube bootcamp, and on YouTube, she does pregnancy and birth content. She had actually been doing it for a little while before she enrolled in my program. So she's been using it to get leads, but it wasn't anything where she was doing really great with it, which is why she reached out to me. I saw her coming in with her wins, and she was doing some really amazing things. And in one of the group calls, we were talking, and I said, what do you think it is that made the biggest shift for you? And she says, I became intentional. I became intentional with everything I was doing on YouTube. And that's when I finally started to see results. I had another student, and she's in the home and interior, like home space. And she had actually been on YouTube for 15 years. She had about 40,000 subscribers, but her growth slowed down. That's why she came to me. When she joined my bootcamp, she said that in that moment, she made that decision to prioritize YouTube and be intentional with everything, the thumbnails, the titles, the content, the filming, all of that. And the moment she made that shift in her brain, that YouTube wasn't just another thing to be checked off your to-do list to grow your business. It actually became something that was prioritized, something that you really thought through every single thing you did. The moment that she got strategic, deliberate, and intentional about her approach, that's when everything changed for her. Being intentional means that you're not just checking off the list of things to do. You're not just uploading because it's Tuesday and you have a schedule to keep. You're uploading because you feel in your heart of hearts that this content is meant for the world, that you are here to help people, to achieve something, to change their minds, whatever it is. You're doing this thing, you're filming this video, you're creating this piece of content to put out in the world because you want to serve the people you're doing it for, not to check a box on a Friday morning upload schedule. And you need to come across with every single video you do with that mindset. When you have that intentionality is when magic happens, is when you start to get those people coming into your world and your community and finally able to get the recognition you deserve on YouTube. So those 6 and 7 figure earners on YouTube, they are intentional with everything they do on YouTube. I'm talking about everything, every single little thing, to what they're wearing, how they're saying it, their backdrop, how they're approaching their titles and thumbnails, the B-roll. Everything is done with intention, not by accident. Now, the 6 and 7 figure earners that I work with, they're not balanced. And I hate to say this. I know they say, oh, we have to have balance. They're obsessed. And now Ali Abdaal talks about this in a recent video about getting rich. And I think it very much applies to YouTube as well.
I think the only reason I got rich, or the main reason, not the only reason, I mean, the main reason I got rich was because I had an unhealthy obsession with making money.
And he said that after getting to know a lot of really wealthy people, that there wasn't a single one of those people who was not unhealthily obsessed with that goal of making a crap ton of money.
I have gotten to know a lot of really rich people. I have not met a single one who was not unhealthily obsessed with the goal of making money, with the goal of getting rich, with the goal of building their business.
He also compared it to athletes.
Like if you look at the training regimens of people who make it professionally, like top 1% people in any sport, from the outside, it looks as if they have an unhealthy obsession with the thing.
Now, when you look at the training regimen of those people that make it to that top percent, it does look like from the outside that they do have an unhealthy obsession with that sport. And that's what gets you in the top 1%. It's the same thing with YouTube. I have a client that works full-time and she runs her own business. But despite her crazy schedule, she brings her laptop everywhere. Vacations, airplanes, weekend trips, even parties. She has told me, she's like, yeah, everybody was drinking every Friday and I'm there with my laptop. She's like, oh, I was every now and then coming in, but I had my YouTube video to do. And everyone's like, what are you doing? She's like, YouTube, you don't get it. But every free moment, she's working on her YouTube channel. I get messages from her at midnight with thumbnail ideas. I have another client who's a mom with a young child. She works full time. She's actually in the medical field. She's a doctor. After bedtime, she's working until 2 or 3 in the morning on her YouTube channel. And she uploads 2 or 3 times a week. Is this ideal? Is this healthy? No. Is it balanced? Not at all. But this is what Ali Abdaal pointed out in that video. And this is what I see every single day from the people that are really doing well on YouTube. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. The creators willing to do what other people won't, even for a season. I'm not telling you to do this all the time, but just give it a shot for a little bit. But the people that do this, even for a season, are the ones who see success. It's a season of intensity. But that obsession, that willingness to prioritize YouTube when others are sleeping or socializing or relaxing, that is what separates those income levels. But I do want to do a disclaimer here. What I have found is that that's what it's needed to get you to that level. But when you get to that level, there are moments you can take a break and you can relax. That's why we're all here on YouTube. That it doesn't have to be like that all the time. But there are moments and there are times that you do have to put your big girl panties on and say, I'm doing this thing. Being obsessed with YouTube, it's not enough. You have to be strategic. The high earners, they don't just create content and hope for the best. They do everything with purpose. They understand the YouTube money-making diamond. I did a whole video on that, so you're gonna wanna check that out. But it is the 4 ways to make money on YouTube: AdSense, brand deals, affiliate income, and your own products and services. A lot of creators focus on 1, maybe 2 of those corners of the diamond, but the 6 and 7 figure earners, I have it right here. Okay, all 4 corners of the diamond. Tracy Campoli, one of my clients, amazing. I love her. We've been working together for about 1.5 years. She was stuck at 200,000 subscribers before she met me for 14 years. 14 years. And when we started working together, we made a strategic shift in her approach with her YouTube channel. Within 1 year, she added 100,000 new subscribers. But most importantly, she unlocked entirely new income streams that she was not tapping into before. Brand deals she never had before. Affiliate income she wasn't tapping into before.
I was seeing AdSense numbers I had never seen before in my life.
God.
What started happening quickly after that was like brand deals started coming back in, and then affiliate stuff too. So now it's such a beautiful feeling to just know that there's so many different facets. So you're not relying on one thing only, you know, to make your revenue.
Her fitness program and online course enrollment blew up. And that is what strategy does. My strategy that I use with my students and clients is called my YouTube brand blueprint. And if you want to know more about that, I am doing a live class explaining what that strategy is. So you're going to want to check that out. Passion can pull some heavy weight. According to research from Deloitte, professionals with both passion and purpose rank in the 80th percentile for performance. But passion by itself, you're at the 64th percentile, which is pretty good. But we're not going for pretty good, ladies. We're going for 6 and 7 figures, okay? If you want that, put it in the comments below. Let me know, like, how badly do you want it? Or maybe you're already there. Maybe you're at 6 figures, but you want to get to that 7-figure mark. Let me know in the comments, like, what you want to make on YouTube, what your dream income would be on YouTube. But when you combine both passion and strategy, or passion with consistency, or passion with some of these other traits that we're talking about, that is when you hit that 80th percentile and beyond. And a big part of passion that I see comes down to niche alignment. I also did a whole video on your channel niche and how to pick the best niche for you, and you're really gonna wanna check out that video if you haven't seen it. But I see an issue with the right niche a lot. Even large channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, sometimes they struggle when they're not aligned with their content. You cannot fake passion long term, and viewers feel it if you're forcing it. And you cannot sustain that YouTube career and creating content day in and day out every single week about topics that drain you instead of energize you. That's why getting that right niche is so important. So going back to passion, when I think about my 6 and 7 figure clients, they're passionate about YouTube. They're passionate about their niche. They're passionate about who they serve and their audience. They just love what they do. And all of that combined, it makes them better at YouTube. You can feel it on the camera and it resonates through the screen. So make sure, first off, that you love YouTube and you're passionate about YouTube and that you love making content on YouTube. So that's a given. Then you need to make sure that whatever topic you select and whatever horse you choose to ride on for success is the one that you are really, really passionate about. Now, passion is great, but without the work, without doing the thing, it means nothing. How many passionate people do you know are just sitting around not doing much? The 6 and 7 figure earners are willing to do the work. They show up consistently, no shortcuts, no excuses. Now, I had a client, Anna Reed, she's a fashion YouTuber, and I interviewed her on my podcast, and I'll put the interview for that below. When I asked her why she thought she'd been successful on YouTube, her answer was simple. Why do you think you've been successful on YouTube?
Because I kept doing it, even though I made crappy videos and nobody watched for a long time, and I just kept going.
I also interviewed Sarah from She Holds Dearly, a very successful YouTube channel in her niche, and she said something that really stuck with me.
I tell people it's like boarding the airplane is so fun. And then you got to go down the runway and it's like all this energy and no lift off.
Wow.
And you just have to go and go and go. And then one day it lifts off.
That is one of the best metaphors for YouTube because there's a lot of work. It takes time. You got to keep going. You got to keep grinding. But one day it will take off. Your first 0 to 30 videos, you're planting the seeds. You're putting in a lot of work with very little visible results. I call this the garden growth timeline, by the way. Now, videos 30 to 60, you start to see some of those little sprouts, right? Some videos perform better than others. You're learning what your audience responds to. 60 plus videos, that's when consistency, that hard work that you're doing, it starts to finally compound. Your skills have improved. You start to really understand your audience. You start to really understand YouTube. And now YouTube itself has more data about who to show your content to. So I'm gonna give you an example. I have another client, Kelsey Rose. Now, she's a content creator in the fitness space, and she has a pretty large following on Instagram, and she hired me to launch her channel. And she said, I know I've been on Instagram, but YouTube is such an untapped place that I really want to be on. So we started working together, I think about a year and a half or so, and for the first 20 to 30 videos that she did, it definitely seemed like nobody was watching. We were doing all the right things. The great thumbnails, great titles. She had a great editor. She had me. Her videos looked good. We were doing everything possible to improve the chances of seeing success. But she was getting around a couple hundred views. We had a few that got 1,000 or 2,000, but around video 37, that's where it happened. One video got 13,000 views like right away. And then another had 50,000 and another one had 40,000. Now, all of her videos are getting views. Her whole channel started to get more momentum because that first video took off. But we had done so much work for the prior 9 months that now that work was finally getting that momentum and those views that it deserved. And once we started getting this momentum, each new video started performing better than before. And now she's at, I don't know, I think she's at almost 40,000 subscribers a year after that video grew up. And what I loved about Kelsey is that she knew it was part of the process and she trusted the process. And she said, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. She kept uploading. She kept doing it. She uploaded once a week, and then we went through periods where she did twice a week as well. And she kept doing it with a smile on her face. And she says, I know I'm gonna get there one day. And that is what seeing the course looks like. She did nearly 40 videos over 9 months before seeing any real momentum. And ladies, this work isn't glamorous. It's repetition. It is showing up again and again and again and again. But that is what builds 6 and 7 figure channels. Now, hear me out on this one. You do have to be slightly delusional to succeed on YouTube. In fact, I think most very, very successful people just in life generally are a little bit delusional. When it comes to YouTube, think about it. You're sitting there thinking, people want to watch me. They want to hear what I have to say. We have 0 subscribers, 0 views, 0 proof that anybody cares. That takes some delusion. Entrepreneur, YouTuber, content creator, overall badass, Layla Hermosi, she talks about this concept of rebranding yourself.
Your brand is who you are, not who you pretend to be.
And she says that you have to act like the person that you want to become, not who you are right now. And that's the delusion that I'm talking about. You need to believe in your message and your value, even when the view counts don't necessarily reflect it. You need to speak with authority and confidence, even when your subscriber count is low. You need to invest in your content, even when the return isn't immediate. I call it the 7% delusion. Just enough crazy to keep going when there's literally no evidence to support it. Every single successful creator I've worked with, they have this. They believe that their content mattered before the data proved it. Like I just mentioned with Kelsey, right? She knew her content was good. She knew her content had value even before we were getting the views. And I'm doing that here on this channel too. I have a brand new channel. There are no views, no subscribers, nothing. I know that this content is very good. I know that this information is extremely valuable, and I'm gonna get that information out there. The high earners I work with all have that unshakable belief that what they're doing matters, that their voice is needed, that their audience is out there, even if they haven't found them yet. They believe that they're special, that they have a voice that should be heard even when nobody is listening yet. And I'm telling you, ladies, it's not arrogance. It is 100% completely necessary, at least if you want to be on YouTube. And for me, I feel that in my heart and my soul. I'm here with a brand new channel with no views, no subscribers, because I know the unique perspective I have to be able to help somebody like you that might be new on YouTube, that might not know what this whole world of YouTube is. I want to be there to guide you and help you, and that's why I'm creating this content. I gotta get a sip of my tea here, lavender mint. Any tea drinkers here? I love me my tea. Another big trait that I see from my 6 and 7 figure earners is that they take risks that a lot of people won't. They take financial risks, time risks, content risks, personal risks. So I'm going to share my own story. Back in 2018, before I launched my YouTube bootcamp, I didn't even have a YouTube channel. I had knowledge and experience because I was in marketing for years. I was very good at sales and marketing, and I worked in commercial real estate. I actually had sold over $55 million worth of property. And I also had a background in on-camera work and theater and acting. So I had all these skills. And when I launched my YouTube Power Hour podcast, I just had a fascination and love for YouTube and YouTubers and wanted to learn more about it in the whole world. I wasn't necessarily a YouTuber. But over time, after interviewing dozens and dozens of people and getting to know people in the industry, a lot of people came to me and said, could you help me? Could you help me with my YouTube channel? You have a lot of knowledge. You have this knack for really understanding what I need to be doing on camera. And I did. One person asking for help turned into 5, turned to 10. Word got out. And before I knew it, I had helped hundreds of people. And then when I launched my YouTube bootcamp in 2018, it's like, what am I doing launching a YouTube bootcamp? I don't even have a YouTube channel. But sure enough, I did it, and the rest is history. And I took that risk. Also, I'm taking a risk right here, right now, starting a brand new YouTube channel from scratch, not telling anybody about it, putting my hard work, time, and energy into this. So it takes risks and calculated risks, right? There's people that work with me, and working with me one-on-one is at least $10,000. Now, I have people that have no channel at all that say, here, Erika, I want to take that risk. I want to invest in myself, and I want to put that time into YouTube. Anybody that starts YouTube generally is taking a little bit of risk. I'm sharing this because the women I know who see success on YouTube, they take risks like this every single day. It's those small and big risks combined that catapult you to another level, to the level of doing things that other people just are not willing to do. One of my clients, Kiva, she risked her entire career on YouTube. She was going to go to medical school to become a doctor when she discovered YouTube. And she started her channel on a topic that has absolutely nothing to do with going to medical school. It was on interior design. And she found me, she hired me, and she said, if I can make YouTube work, I am not going to medical school. And she had a personal business and income and growth goal that she wanted to hit for that to happen. So she took the risk, she invested in me, she invested that time into YouTube, and sure enough, for her, it worked out. She didn't end up going to medical school and is now one of the most successful interior design YouTubers on the platform. And now I'm not advocating that people quit school for YouTube. That's not the point here. Why I'm sharing this is that sometimes doing that risky thing is the only thing that's going to help you succeed. Being risky can also come in trying new things, right? Being a little bit controversial or different with your content, taking a stance, experimenting with formats your audience hasn't seen from you before. Risks come in all different shapes and sizes, but bottom line is doing something a little bit scary, a little different, and jumping all in and doing it. Now I have another client and now friend, Kimberly. I was actually a bridesmaid in her wedding. She had been on YouTube for years, and she was in a completely different niche. And she switched niches a few times, was at 200,000 subscribers, and she just wasn't happy with the niche that she was in. She completely shifted her content, like completely. And a lot of people would be scared to do this, but she completely shifted it from doing videos about tech and pop sockets. Pop sockets was basically what her channel was. It's those things that go behind a phone. She had a whole channel about pop sockets and phone accessories. And she decided, I don't want to do that anymore. She created a video on a true crime, a totally different niche. Something that people were like, why are you doing that? Like, what makes you think you could do that? And then she created another one and then another one. And sure enough, her videos started to take off. And now she's one of the most popular true crime creators in her space. Playing safe in life isn't going to get you far, especially not on YouTube. Here's the final trait that I see all 6 and 7 figures have. And it might be the most important one. They're not perfectionists. They move on. Elizabeth Gilbert is the author of a book that I absolutely love. And if you haven't read it yet, as a creator or somebody that wants to be on YouTube, I highly, highly recommend it. It's called Big Magic. And she says,
I always say that perfectionism is just fear in high heels and a mink coat, pretending to be fancy.
But perfectionism kills YouTube channels all the time. I just had a new client that hired me for one-on-one coaching. And you know when was the last time that she uploaded? 7 months ago. 7 months ago. She tells me that YouTube is a priority. She's paying for me, obviously. I'm not cheap. But she has this perfectionist thing going on where if a video isn't perfect, it just doesn't go up. She's filmed videos, started editing, didn't like them, and just trashed them so many times. If that's you or if that's something that you've done, let me know in the comments because it is a common thing that happens, and that's why I'm talking about it here. I have another client. She's incredibly talented. She has expertise that people desperately want, but she treats every single video like it needs to be be this documentary masterpiece when she could literally just get in front of the camera and talk, but she doesn't want to do it. Why? Because I think she's afraid. I think there's fear there. She's lucky if she uploads once a month. And then when a video doesn't perform well, which happens, right? She gets so discouraged that she delays uploading the next one. That's why she only uploads once a month, if that. And she'll sit there obsessing over older videos, redoing the thumbnails again and again and again, instead of just creating new content. I'm like, create new content, do something. So when I think about the high earners that I know and work with, they upload, they learn, and they move on to the next video. They understand that each video is a piece of data. It's a lottery ticket, right? Each video is a lottery ticket. One might take off, but many won't. But that one that takes off can change your life. And they're not emotionally attached to individual videos. They see the bigger picture. And one thing I've seen is that your attachment to one video or to each of your videos is inversely proportional to your channel's growth. So the more attached you are, the less likely you are to grow, because you have to just continue uploading in order to be able to see that momentum and growth that you want. Done is better than perfect every single time. All right, so that's it. That is what I have learned from the 6 and 7 figure earning YouTubers. They're intentional, they're obsessed, they're strategic, they're passionate, they put in the work, they're delusional in the best way, they take risks, and they're not perfectionists. And here is the truth, ladies. They're not secrets, they are choices, deliberate choices that are made every single day. YouTube requires sacrifice. It requires obsession, at least for a season. It requires patience and belief in yourself when there's no proof yet. But your future self will thank you for the decisions that you make today. So let me ask you this. Which of these 8 traits do you need to work on? Let me know in the comments. Which of these you hear that you're like, ooh, yeah, I don't do that. Or like, ooh, I do that mistake that she's saying. Let me know in the comments, because I know you're not alone. And I want to know where you're at in your YouTube journey. And if you want to go deeper with me, I'm hosting a free class where I break down my YouTube brand blueprint, which is my complete YouTube strategy for 2026. And the link is in the description below. Remember, keep shining, keep creating, and most importantly, keep being you. And if you made it all the way to the end, make sure you subscribe. Mwah.